You know that feeling. You get some new software, you're excited, and then bang, that now what moment hits when you try to install it. Or maybe just that headache when things don't work right.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there. Installation frustration is almost a rite of passage.
Well, hopefully we can smooth that out today. Welcome to the deep dive. We're going to try and cut through the confusion around downloading, installing, even reinstalling Microsoft 365 or Office 2024, PC, Mac. We'll cover it.
And we're basing this on a pretty comprehensive Microsoft support guide, but, pulling out the bits that really matter day to day.
Exactly. Our mission is to give you those tips, those little aha moments that can make the whole process less painful, maybe even straightforward. Things like, why is installing for home different from business?
Or that product key. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. What's the deal with that? We'll get into it.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Before anyone even clicks download, there's some things you really should check first.
Yeah.
Some pre-checks that can save a lot of hassle later.
Right. And the guide really hammers this home. Check the system requirements first. Absolute first step.
Why do people skip that, do you think? Is it just eagerness?
Mostly, yeah. You just want to get it installed. But then you hit a snag and you're troubleshooting something that isn't even a software bug. Your machine isn't quite up to it.
Like putting the wrong fuel in the car.
Exactly, that kind of fundamental problem. A quick check saves potentially hours. And what's really interesting is how the whole process changes depending on if it's your first install or a reinstall.
Okay, how so?
Well, if you've already gone through the setup once, redeemed a key maybe, or you've got a license from work, you can often just skip right ahead. Sign in, download, done. No need to redo the initial steps.
Ah, nice shortcut for reinstalling.
Yeah.
But for that first time, especially hitting that home versus business difference, what's the big tripwire people stumble over?
It's often that product key for home users. People think you just punch it in during the install, but no. If you get a key with your home version, you absolutely must redeem it first. At office.com, setup.
Only once, though, right?
Yes, thank goodness. Just once. But that step is what links the license to your personal Microsoft account permanently. It's like registering the deed to your house, That account becomes your key to reinstalling later without needing the physical key again.
That's a great analogy. So home users, focus on that Microsoft account link. But shift gears to business or school users. It's different.
Completely different landscape, yeah.
Yeah.
For Microsoft 365, for business, you, the user, typically don't mess with the product key at all. It's all about license assignment. Meaning your IT admin or whoever manages the Microsoft account for your organization assigns a license to your work or school account. So you just sign in using those work or school credentials.
Okay, so what if you sign in with your work account and there's just no install button?
Good question. That usually means one of two things. Either your admin hasn't actually assigned you a license yet, or maybe there's some kind of security policy blocking it. First step is usually check with your IT admin. They'll know. Gotcha. And it's not always that simple either, is it? The guide mentions other scenarios.
Right, like the workplace discount program. If you bought Office that way, maybe as an employee perk, there are specific steps. Or volume licensing big companies buy this way. Users there need to talk to IT.
And what about buying from, say, Amazon or another third-party seller?
Yeah, if you run into key issues there, the guidance often points back to making sure you did that initial redemption correctly or contacting the seller if the key itself seems faulty. The main point is how you get Office changes how you install it.
Okay, so pre-check's done, account type understood. Maybe you've redeemed a key if needed. Now, the actual download, you said the starting point is universal.
Pretty much. You head to www.microsoft365.com. Simple as that.
Unless you're in certain regions, right? You mentioned China or Germany.
Correct. Specific URLs for those, like login.partner.microsoftonline.cn or portal.office.de. But for most people, it's microsoft365.com. And the absolute crucial step there is signing in.
With the right account.
The right account. Your personal Microsoft account for home or your work school account for business. Get that wrong, and you won't see your license or the option to install. And hey, if you forget which account you used, there's a forgot account link to help you figure it out.
Okay, signed in correctly. What happens next?
Depends on that account type again. If you're on a personal Microsoft account, you'll usually see a big Install Apps button, maybe Install Office. Click that, then click Install. Pretty simple.
And for work or school accounts?
Similar. Also look for Install Apps, maybe under Apps section in the navigation on the left. Click that, and then specifically choose Microsoft 365 apps.
Now, you mentioned something technical, 64-bit versus 32-bit. Does the average user need to worry about this?
Mostly no, but it's good to know about. The default install is 64-bit now, which is better for performance on modern PCs.
Yeah.
But the installer is smart. If it finds you already have older 32-bit Office apps installed, it will install the new stuff as 32-bit too, to avoid conflicts.
Okay. So it tries to play nice automatically.
Exactly. But let's say, you want 64-bit, maybe for handling huge Excel files or something, and the installer picked 32-bit because of old apps. You can't just flip a switch.
What do you have to do?
You have to completely uninstall Office first, then sign back into Microsoft365.com, explicitly choose the 64-bit installer before you download, and then reinstall. It's a bit of a process.
Good to know. So download finishes. What's the install like on a PC?
Pretty straightforward. The downloaded file might be setup.exe or something similar. Your browser might ask if you want to run or save it first. You'll likely get a Windows prompt asking, do you want to allow this app? You click yes, then you just wait. You'll see a progress bar, maybe an animation, and finally you're all set.
Okay. And Mac users, is it similar?
Broadly, yes. It uses a standard Mac installer package, a .pkg file. You'll find it in your downloads folder, double-click it, go through the wizard, continue, agree to the license, choose where to install. Pretty standard stuff. You might need to enter your Mac login password.
But you mentioned a potential Mac-specific hurdle.
Yes. The unidentified developer warning. This pops up sometimes because of Mac security settings. If you see that, don't panic. Just drag the installer file from downloads onto your desktop. Then hold down the Control key on your keyboard, click the installer file, and choose Open from the menu that pops up.
Control-click, okay. That bypasses the warning.
Yep, it tells macOS, hey, I know what I'm doing, open this anyway. After that, the installation should proceed normally. You click Close when it's done.
All right, software's installed, home stretch, but it's not quite ready yet, is it? Activation.
Right, the final handshake, as you called it earlier. This usually happens the first time you actually launch one of the apps, like Word or Excel.
How do you launch them? Just find them in the Start menu or Applications folder.
Exactly. On PC, click Start, type Word, click the icon. On Mac, click the Launchpad icon in the dock, find Word, click it.
And then what? Does it just work?
Often, yes. Especially if you're signed into Windows or your Mac with the same account associated with your Office license. You might see a What's New screen on Mac. You'll probably have to click Accept on the license agreement the very first time. But usually it just activates quietly in the background.
But what if it doesn't activate automatically? If you get an error or something?
Okay, again, don't panic. If Office runs into an activation problem, it's designed to pop up the activation wizard. It'll guide you through the steps needed, maybe confirming your account or asking for a key if it's one of those rare versions. Just follow the prompts.
That's good to know there's a built-in helper for that. Any quick tips after installation?
Yeah, a couple of handy ones. For Mac users, if you want Word, Excel, etc., right there in your dock for easy access, open the app first from your Applications folder. Then, while it's running, Control-click or right-click its icon down in the dock. Go to Options and choose Keep in Dock.
Simple enough.
And don't forget your phone or tablet. You can absolutely install the Microsoft 365 mobile apps on your iPhone or iPad. The support guides have specific instructions for setting those up too. Very useful for editing on the go.
Okay, we've covered the ideal path. But let's be real. Things go wrong. Tech throws curveballs.
Yeah.
This is where the deep dive really helps, right? Unraveling those moments.
Absolutely. Knowing the common snags is key. Let's start with account problems. We mentioned the forgot account link. That's crucial if you're stuck just trying to sign in.
What about that business user scenario again? Signed in, but no install option.
Right. We said check with your admin about the license. That's step one. It could also be a security policy blocking installs from where you are. Maybe check the official Microsoft 365 software page linked from your account. See what it says. But yeah, admin contact is usually fastest.
And for students or teachers?
There's sometimes a specific path for them. If your school provides Microsoft 365, you use your school account. If not, you might actually be eligible to get a free version directly from Microsoft, so that's worth checking out too.
Product keys. Still a source of confusion.
Can be. The main reminder. If your version came with key, you have to redeem it first at Microsoft365.com/setup. If you didn't redeem it, the install won't activate properly or might not even proceed correctly depending on the version. If your version didn't come with a key, like most subscriptions, then don't worry about it.
Okay, now this next one seems huge. Device limits. Subscription versus one-time purchase. This causes real headaches, doesn't it?
Oh, massively. This is probably one of the biggest aha moments for people. With a Microsoft 365 subscription like Personal or Family, you can install the apps on all your devices, PCs, Macs, tablets, phones, everything. And you can be actively signed in and using it on 5 devices at the exact same time.
5 simultaneously. Wow. And Family lets you share that.
Right. With Microsoft 365 Family, you share your subscription with up to 5 other people. Each of those people gets their own 5 simultaneous sign-ins on all their devices. It's incredibly flexible.
Okay, that's the subscription.
Right.
What about the one-time purchase, like Office Home and Business 2024?
Totally different deal. A one-time purchase license is strictly for one computer, one PC, or one Mac. That's it.
So if that computer dies...
Good question. You can transfer it if you have a hardware failure, or you just buy a new computer. You can deactivate it on the old one, if possible, and activate it on the new one. So it's not lost forever, but it's still only usable on one machine at a time. Understanding that difference avoids so many unlicensed product errors later.
That is a critical distinction. What other install headaches pop up?
Well, sometimes it's basic permissions. On a PC, you generally need to be an administrator on that machine to install software like Office. If you're on a standard user account, it might block you.
Makes sense. What about things like Project or Visio?
If you bought those separately, you usually install them the same way as the main Office Suite sign into Microsoft365.com with the account you used to buy them, and you should see an installed option there.
Okay, what if the installation is just crawling, taking forever?
That's usually network related. Slow internet, maybe your firewall is interfering, or your antivirus software is scanning every single file as it downloads and installs. The guide suggests checking those things.
Is there a workaround?
Yes. The offline installer. This downloads the entire installation package first, then you run it locally. It bypasses potential issues with flaky connections or overly aggressive security software during the install process itself. It's a great fallback.
Good tip. What about unsupported operating system errors?
Pretty self-explanatory, usually. Your Windows or Mac OS version is too old and doesn't meet the minimum requirements. Trying to install the Mac version on a PC or vice versa will also give you this. Obvious, but it happens.
And Chromebooks.
Right. You can't install the full desktop versions of Office on a Chromebook. You use the web browser versions, the free ones, or potentially Android app versions, depending on the Chromebook model. Not the full desktop experience, though.
And if you just get a random error message?
Look closely at the message. Often there's a Learn More link or an error code you can search for on the Microsoft support site. They have extensive troubleshooting guides for common error codes.
And finally, a quick mention for the IT folks listening.
Yeah, the source guide definitely has sections specifically for Microsoft 365 admins. Things like how to manage those license assignments we talked about, controlling how users download software, deploying Office across an organization, buying more licenses. It's all covered for them, too.
So quite a journey. We went from those initial checks, product type account, through the specific install steps for PC and Mac, and how to handle activation and those common troubleshooting moments.
Hopefully people feel they've got a clearer roadmap now, knowing whether you need a key, which account to use, how many devices you can actually install on. It demystifies things a lot.
Absolutely. So if you've ever stared at that unlicensed product message in frustration, or just wondered, can I put this on my laptop and my desktop? Maybe this deep dive changes how you see that whole process.
Yeah, what other little nuggets are hidden in plain sight on those support pages we all tend to skim through? Always worth looking closer sometimes.
Definitely. We hope you can apply this knowledge next time you're installing Office, or maybe even just checking your current setup. And remember, if you hit a wall, especially small businesses, contacting Microsoft support directly is always an option.
For sure. Don't struggle needlessly if the guides aren't solving it.
Well, that's our deep dive for today. Until next time, keep exploring.